I want to gangbang, or I want a threesome with two men, or
Yeah.
I want to explore dressing up like a bunny rabbit. It could be anything. And
Yes.
sometimes I think in the sexual department, the shaming of these things does not allow us to fully be ourselves, as well as one of the two main chakras that we are able to get rid of stress, trauma, grief is through our throat chakra, which is our voice and speaking, and
Yes.
our sacral chakra, which is through sex. So if we're limited, we can't say anything, and we also can't use
Do
our sexual
anything.
energy the way we can. You wonder why we have fibroids and hysterectomies.
Hello, sexies. Welcome to Sisters of Sexuality, 5 Shades of Play. Today's episode is sponsored by organiclovin.com. Hello, sexies. You are listening to Sisters of Sexuality, 5 Shades of Play. And I am Taylor Sparks, your host and sex goddess for the evening. We are here for the purposes of educating, entertaining, and informing you in all areas of sexuality, sexual health, kink, relationships, and the business of sex. I am so excited, as I am every week, to bring you a new guest. But before I bring her on, let me tell you a little bit about her. Malika Maat is a celebrated astro-strategist, sex educator, clinical nurse, and founder of Astro Discovery Health. From healing astrology readings to inspiring international retreats, workshops, and conferences, Malika and her vibrant spirit have guided her clients to align themselves with their true life's path. She has been gifted with the ability to translate cosmic symbols into everyday wisdom that is as transcendent as it is practical and actionable. Malika uses her 15 plus years of entrepreneurship and financial success to guide businesses on the intersections of astrology and business acumen. It is her mission to align people with their own uniqueness and discover their current and past life's journey so they can step into their highest potential. In addition to astrology, Malika enjoys traveling as a travel agent around the world, tapping into her divine feminine and consulting clients on the power of cosmic sexuality and cosmic orgasms. She impacts the lives of her clients by revealing one's highest source of power through their connection with self and divine. Malika, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. We recently met. Uh, we met? Where were we?
And Playa.
We were in Playa. I'm like, oh my God, wait, what were we? Not Cancun. I was in Playa for the weekend, just down from where I'm residing. It's about 50 minutes south of Cancun, for those of you who don't know much about Mexico. And we were at this amazing little fun little rooftop party, and and her girls were there, and they were so sexy. I just had to be like, who are you all, and where are you from, and what are you doing? And as we started to talk, she was telling me about her things, and I just had to have you on. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is this cosmic sexuality and cosmic orgasms because people need to know. They just need to know. So let's start there, and then I'm going to back up. But what is cosmic sexuality?
Well, the best way that I can really explain it is kind of going back a little bit. Before there was the church, or before there was all these drugs that we have available, the best, easiest, most divine way to have connection with God or the higher spirit is through the connection of orgasm, love making, fucking, whatever you want to call it. But the
Right?
union between two people, no matter woman, woman, man, and man, um, and it is the ability to use our sexual energy, which is the most strongest, highest form of sexual energy, one of the most potent forms, and be able to
Mm-hmm.
channel that energy. And so when you are orgasming with another person, it is just not your energy that is climaxing, that is setting that intention out into the universe, whether it be for fertility, to bring more water to the lands, to get a
Yes.
successful job, to heal yourself. It's another way to Be able to heal yourself throughout without having to talk about it. It's an energetic force that is so strong. It's not just that 30, 30-second orgasm. Sometimes the orgasm can last days
Yes, if you're lucky.
if you're lucky. And that divine um, cosmic expression of sexuality is a little
Mhm,
bit different than just a regular good sex session or
mhm.
just feeling so good. It is, you feel it from the twinkling in your toes all the way up to your hair follicles. It's an amazing experience.
It is. Now, question. I have two. I have many. But first, before I get to that question, hopefully I won't forget. Let's go back to how did this even come about? Like, why astrology? Why cosmic sexuality? Like, where did this all begin for you? Did it start with, tea leaves or throwing bones? Like, how did it come about for you?
Wow, let's see. Well, I have always been an adventurous person. And I honestly, it started off, I saw something on the internet and I said, I want to try that. And what it was it was an art institute and I wanted to be painted. I wanted to be naked and I wanted to be painted. I wanted to be stared at. I wanted to be looked at and I wanted to see how others saw me. And from there, just from that spark, I said, do I really know myself? I have a lot of childhood trauma and things going on, and I was just unable to see myself. And as a Leo, a dominant person that I am, unfortunately, Leos have a hard time with really seeing themselves. They need mirrors in people and relationships and experiences to really have an observer version of themselves. And so that's why I started digging into astrology. At first, it was just, you meet a guy or a woman and you're saying, oh, are we compatible? But I would say around 2010, I started doing a deep study in astrology, learning about myself, the houses, the planets, Pluto and how I can manifest my dreams through it. It's like my map. And once I started diving deep even more into Pluto and being a platonic woman, where my sexuality comes from, where the fetish comes from, where the taboo things come from, and it is placed also where my moon is. So it really speaks to me. And when I found this area, I kind of just fell in love with it. And the more I dive deep into it, the more sexy, freaky, wonderful, explorative that I can find myself, and the more relaxed I became in it. And I said, this is me. And astrology gave me that boost to say, this is me, and I'm happy about that.
And how long have you been doing this now? More than 10 years?
Yeah, more than 10 years. I started seeing clients officially back in 2017.
Hmm, hmm,
But before then, it was just 7 years of really, really getting to know myself. A lot of deep study, a lot of shadow work, a lot of
hmm,
grace and
hmm.
passion as well.
So when we talk, and I very much believe in cosmic energy. I believe in um, sex as as a way of healing oneself. I believe in orgasmic energy, um, and I believe in it to the degree that I know that if you have two really good people who are focused energetically on some of the same outcomes, whether that outcome is pleasure, whether that outcome is manifesting, that I believe that you don't have to necessarily be in love or in a relationship with that person. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's possible to manifest with someone that you are not, deeply in love with through orgasmic energy?
Absolutely. You can manifest anything. And honestly, anytime that you are connecting with someone, you are manifesting. Now, what you are manifesting is the
Mhm.
is the question. So no matter if it is something that is someone you met, like a one-time thing, whether it is with, a sex worker and their client, whether it's with your husband or wife. Everything needs to kind of be discussed beforehand, checking their
Okay.
temperature. What kind of energy are they bringing to the table?
Mhm.
Even when using sex magic, it could be, hey, we're having a hard time, or I'm having a hard time. Maybe this, my mother's coming up and I have some grief around that. You can we use this session that we're going to have to focus when we are having orgasms to heal me? And sometimes it could just be, we're just having a good time and we're just being free. Just the fact that we have no intention is also an intention as well.
Yes.
But I think you can manifest anything with anyone.
Yes, yes. And also, I've seen some people um, believe that, and you see it on the internet, like, oh, you have to be careful with who you have sex with because some of these men, they're bringing the energetic, energy from all of these women from the past, and that may be true. And I had a discussion with another sex goddess that I know, and she was like, yes, that may be true, but we sometimes on the receiving side have to decide what we're keeping and what we're not keeping. So someone may come with that energy, but you can rebuke you and take that shit with you when you go out the door. Thanks for the sex and the energy. That was good. And do you believe that it is just as possible to kind of receive the good from somebody and all the rest of that energy that they may have that may not be that good for you, that you are able to kind of rebuke that after the session or not even allow it to, I don't know, to even enter your spirit, if you will?
Yes, I do agree. I look at my previous sexual healing work, or even the healing work that I do with my husband, as something that is so sacred, just like a therapist. If you see a therapist and you see patient after patient after patient, you have to take some time to yourself to kind of slough all that off of you. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you say you're coming home and your spouse is having a bad day and you want to make their day, knowing that they might not even be in the right mood or right attitude. As women, primarily, we have the power to transform energy and transcend energy.
Mm-hmm.
And before, when men used to go off to war, when they came home, well, they didn't come straight home after war. They went to what they call brothels or whorehouses. They weren't called that then, but those women were able to take those men, transcend their energy through sexual energy. So when they go home to their wives, they can go back the man that they were when they left. It is
Right.
very, very, very important that women understand the power, I say the power of the pussy, but the
Yeah,
power of our energy to transcend that type of energy and transform it. And so if you are coming into contact with someone who may have energy that you might not want to keep for yourself, more than anything, I would say you probably hold that same type of energy within
for
you, or you wouldn't
sure.
have attracted that person.
For
Um,
sure.
but like energy maximizes that. So if you are both negative, then you will have, double negative. And
For
if
sure.
you are trying to heal with love, even if it's just a sex session, even if it's
Sure.
something that's 5 minutes, everything in the healing space of sexual energy needs to be met with love, with positivity, even if you're doing BDSM or
Sure.
gagging or beating them or causing pain. It is still with love. So we always have that ability to. And even if it's just a one night stand and you're not really sure who this person is or what this person comes with, we have the ability to fortify ourselves, whether it be through
Mm.
meditation, through taking a swim, going to the ocean, cleansing ourselves in the full moon. We have plenty of ways. So I agree with that. And I really don't think that women or people are just going to be soaking up all this devilish energy because we're
Well,
having
and
a
this is
little
the
partner.
thing. Yeah, and I'm not quite some of this language of this negativity of what the man brings to the woman. I I believe some of it comes from a misogynistic man's way of keeping the woman shut down in a way, right? Just as years and years and years ago, women were told, oh, just, and to some degree today, you're just too emotional. You cannot handle having the emotional relationship with more than one man at the same time. You cannot physically handle having more than one penis at the same time. And you're just not built for that. And so by spreading this rumor, if you will, that, oh, if you have more than one man, I think it's another way to keep women sort of on lockdown. And even when I say that, the pushback is, oh, well, then go ahead and be a slut, well, then go ahead and be a whore, which is another way to make you feel bad about your own self and your own sexuality. There was a recent post by somebody, and this guy, and he was saying, men have the key and women are the lock, and keys can open up many locks, but locks cannot be opened up by different keys. And this is why the women, and I'm like, what are you spewing?
I didn't know we were metal.
First of all, that part, right? And I'm like, first of all, it was just the craziest metaphor, but it was another way to tell women, sit down, and you sit there and you wait for the one, while we go around with our keys opening up all, and fucking everybody that we want because you were designed, to be still. And it just doesn't stop. And I recently posted, I'm like, no man, no key would ever know how many keys have been in that lock if women would not tell them and not put their business on social media, because as soon as you withdraw the key, the lock closes back up because it's a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
How would they know? Like, honestly,
Exactly.
they
How would they
they
know?
they don't know, and I'm not suggesting women just run around with a bunch of different men, but they really don't know. There is no way for them to know if you keep your mouth shut, so to speak.
Exactly. I think I have a very, very good friend, my best friend, who's always been sexually liberated. And I love that about her. And you hear a lot of things going around masculine and feminine and things like that. But another thing astrology has told me is everybody has their own specific combination of masculine and feminine that they hold.
Sure.
Some women need a little bit more in the sexual department to feel fulfilled. It's like everyone is different. To generalize all of women that they are all like this is a big problem. It's a huge issue because, of course, it seems like they just want us to be cooking and cleaning, sucking and fucking, and
Right.
that's it. And we have aspirations, we have dreams, we have experiences that we want to have that sometimes you can't have with just one guy. Sometimes you can't just have with one relationship. Some people need different mirrors to see themselves with. Not everybody is going to fulfill or even want or have the desire to feel your sexual fantasies. And sometimes maybe role play is just not their thing. And
Sure.
that is fine. And I think that the box that women are in can be very, very, just could cause a lot of depression. And when I found astrology, I just felt like, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. I've dated multiple people. I was poly before I even knew I was like poly. I just dated him and then I was dating him and then they both knew
Yes.
about it. And then I checked in with both of them. So that was just that thing. And part of it is also we have to just not care what others think about us.
For sure.
And when I got into astrology, I figured there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing that I need to change. There's some things I may need to put in balance. There may be some
Yes.
things I need to clear up so I can see the picture clearly. But
Hmm.
every single thing about me is just the way that it should be. And
Hmm.
that right there let me step out a little bit more to tell my story, to not be afraid of someone going to say, oh, hey, she's doing this professionally, but I remember when she was doing this, or I saw her doing this, or she
Yes.
used to have clients, and the shaming of all of that. And I don't think it'll ever go away. I don't expect it to. I don't expect for those men to change their minds and wake up just the same way I don't expect racist people to somehow wake up and not be
Yes.
racist anymore.
Yes. Yes.
But what I do want to do is just make sure that women feel comfortable in their own skin to express themselves. Some
Mhm.
women can't even verbally say, I want a gangbang, or I want a threesome with two men, or I
Yes,
want to explore dressing up like a bunny rabbit. It could be anything. And
yes.
sometimes I think in the sexual department, the shaming of these things does not allow us to fully be ourselves, as well as one of the two main chakras that we are able to get rid of stress, trauma, grief is through
Mhm.
our throat chakra, which is our voice and speaking, and
Yes.
our sacral chakra, which is through sex. So if we're limited, we can't say anything, and we also can't use
Do
our sexual
anything.
energy the way we can. You wonder why we have fibroids and hysterectomies and
Heart disease, and the stress is beyond for the modern for the modern woman. But are there any? I know with regards to astrology, there's a million combinations of zodiac signs because you have your sun sign and you have your moon sign, you have your rising, and a lot of people don't have a real true understanding as to how far back astrology goes. But that is not just some foo-foo thing. It is the cosmos are real. There is a sun and how you were born. Would you say, based on your professional experience, that there is one particular sun sign that might be more sexually open, not necessarily having lots of sex, but maybe just sexually open emotionally, about sex? Is there any particular, you've discovered that with any sign, or is it a little bit of sign and a little bit of environment, like nature versus nurture kind of thing?
yeah, that's a very complex question because everyone is their own customized
Yeah,
person,
there's
and
a
depending
blend.
on aspects. But Plutonic people have it. Plutonic, when I say either they're Pluto, they have a lot of aspects to their Pluto. So their sun is aspecting their Pluto, their Venus, which is the love planet, is
Yes.
accessing Pluto. Pluto is ruled by Scorpio, and its favorite house is the eighth house. So if you have a lot of planets in the eighth house, you have a lot of Scorpio placements, aspects, as well as a lot of Pluto aspects. It normally allows people the freedom and the depth to go deep because Plutonic people have a lot of depth. And they're not scared of death, of rebirth, transformation,
Mm,
of sex, of taboo topics, of the occult, anything that is something that people don't want to talk about or the
yeah.
society wants to sheer away from. Plutonic people, especially Plutonic women, will have it head on and will say, we're going to do exactly what you said we shouldn't do, and then we're going to prove you wrong.
Ha ha ha. We'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Motor Bunny. Motor Bunny was created out of restless curiosity and sheer frustration. After spending months looking for a sex machine that made use of connective technology and didn't cost a fortune, it was clear that a lack of competition in the category meant a lack of innovation and disturbingly sparse options. The Motor Bunny founder set out to fill a major hole in the industry, and in 2015, Motor Bunny was introduced as the world's first wireless Bluetooth and long distance controlled sex machine. Motor Bunny's mission is to empower creative sexual experiences by reducing the financial risk of experimentation. With powerful machines that vibrate all the way to 11, with attachments that can either rotate or thrust, Motor Bunny machines are ideal for unlocking creativity and your personal pleasure. Visit motorbunny.com and use code 11 and receive $50 off of any of their amazing machines. That is motorbunny.com with code LOVEN.
Plutonic people also have the ability to manipulate. And when
Mm,
people hear manipulation, they think of negative. But manipulation is being able to see a need in someone, either energetic need or a physical need, like they need money or a place to stay or something like that. But you're able to see a need in that person, and you're able to say, okay, I found the need, even though they might not have verbally said it, but I have found the need, and I'm able to give that to them, whether it be a healing of kind words, whether that be monetary, whether that be sex, whether that be an opportunity. And some people look at it bad as, oh, okay, you're manipulating my emotions for your greatest gain and your result. If you have
Mhm.
a result that you would like them to have for maybe healing, maybe prospering, maybe diving deeper into their issues, these are the things that healers and plutonic people do so well. And there's a lot of healing that needs to go on, especially with men, um,
Yes.
in the sexual space. And they need to have an environment that does not require them to verbally state what they need, because that's very
Mm.
hard for a person to be vulnerable. So
Yes.
those women who can see a need in a man or a woman and be able to fulfill that in a non-verbal way are the people who are comfortable in their sexuality, comfortable with their appearance and how they come off into the world, and they are confident in knowing that people are going to not say no to them.
Interesante. Very interesting. So when you have clients who come to you, as a sex educator who are coming to you regarding their sexuality or their sexual relationship, let's say a couple comes to you, do you automatically incorporate the astrology into what's going on with them to help them kind of maybe be better communicators, whether that be just verbal communication or sexual communication? If there's, let's say, they're having some challenges. Um, in the bedroom, so to speak, whether that's libido, being different than the other. Someone's always chasing, someone's always running sometimes. How do you incorporate astrology in your sex education with clients?
So I always do. If you go to a regular couples therapy, you might not get to the nitty-gritty to maybe the third, fourth, fifth session, especially if it's an hour
Mm-hmm.
session. So before that, I always look at both of their charts, and I also do a composite chart, which is
Mm-hmm.
um, basically if both of their energies combined. So if the relationship had a baby, what would that baby's personality be? What would be the
Yes.
characteristics them coming together? And then a synastry report is both of their energies separate and how they overlay, how they interact with each other. So
Hmm.
I always do one because I'm able to see how they communicate, what areas of their life that needs maybe a little bit more balanced in, where are their triggers. Some people, when they're with one person, they have no triggers. They never had to deal with this, but now this
Sure.
other person is now triggering them. I
Mhm.
look at where their childhood trauma could be and how it's manifesting into the relationship, how they're communicating, how do they receive love, how do they want love.
Mhm.
And then we can get down to, okay, I see before the world hits you, before the trauma hits you, before all the negativities hit you, how
Yes.
pure you were. And we
Mm.
have to learn how to get back to that and unlearning a lot of things in
Yes.
life.
Yes.
And I have to speak to their purest self because what's in front of me is not their purest self. A lot of times they have, their guard may be up, they have insecurities, they have things, they
Mm-hmm.
might be shame or guilt or something they just don't, they haven't even talked to their partner yet. So they wouldn't want to talk to me about it. And so in the
Mm.
beginning, I always ask for permission to bring up topics that they might not have talked about, some that might be sensitive. And most of the time, I would say 85% of the time, people who have come to see me or to some sex educators, at
Mm-hmm.
least one person in the relationship has had some type of sexual trauma in their
Mm.
lives.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be rape. It doesn't have to be, groping or anything. Like sometimes women mature too fast.
Yes.
Sometimes they didn't know their body was one way growing up and their mind didn't catch up too well. Some
Sure.
men
Sure.
had women have sex with them too early at 11 and 12 and 10, and
Yes.
that's really, really early. Um,
Yes.
there's such an array of things that sometimes I have to do individual sessions with them.
For
Um,
sure.
just because of that. But if we're just speaking on, I just met a client and they want to explore something sexually for that weekend or something like that, it is very easy. I look at their Pluto, I look at their Venus sign, I look at their
Okay.
seventh house of partnerships and relationships, and then I look at their 12th house, which is all the subconscious stuff that they don't say, that never gets
Yes.
told. And
Yes.
kind of go from there. Sometimes, it takes a little bit of a pace. So like you say, some ones are chasing and some ones are, running away. So it just depends on that ebb and flow. And
Hmm.
then sometimes I do see as I would say maybe a karmic lesson for
Mm.
one of the partners who was more sexually liberated can sometimes seem to find partners who are not as sexually liberated, who may
Mm.
not want to or feel comfortable doing everything that you're doing. And it offers a great balance to the relationship as a whole, even though in the sexual department, it might not be as fiery as one partner is hoping, is wishing. So
Yeah.
I always try to make sure that each partner understands the other's sexual libido, time. Some people are ready to go. No, all they need is a little rub on their arm and they're good. And some
Yes. Just blow.
right. And some people need a little bit more time, a little bit more warming up. And that goes for men and women as
For
well, especially
sure.
as we age.
Yes, yes, yes. So I also know that you use astrology for entrepreneurship and for businesses. And so, how did you transition from the business to the sexuality, or the sexuality to the business? But how are you using it to help entrepreneurs?
Oh, this is my favorite. So everything has a birth date. Every business
Sure.
has a birth date, whether that be when you incorporate it, when you announced that you started it, when you bought your
Hmm.
first product, when you thought of your
Yeah.
first name of the business. And how it started was I have had many successful businesses as in healthcare, in real estate, and
Hmm.
travel. And one of the things I knew for a fact, just in my deep study, was that there are tons of ways to mess up your money energetically. And the
Yes.
biggest way to mess up your money is the relationship with the people who are closest to you.
Mm.
People have a huge issue with generating money because their energetic profile does not match their birth chart profile or
Hmm.
their business profile. So,
Okay.
for instance, let's say you were trying to put a retreat together or some type of therapy, promotional material, or anything like that, that is heavy, or maybe around mothers, or maybe around healing. There's certain times in the year that you should be posting. Certain times a year you might want to
Hmm.
have that event because. As a population, as a community, as a whole that's living on this earth, we are already kind of moving towards that. So around October
Yes.
time, Scorpio time,
Mm.
November time is like a deep time for self-reflection. A lot of people automatically start to go inward and they start,
Okay.
feeling a little bit heavy. Holiday seasons are coming up, being more
Hmm.
around family. The days are shorter, nights are longer. We have seasonal depression. So it's an automatic time for people to go into those healing spaces. You don't have to force it. If it's
Mm.
summertime, you really shouldn't have a super deep healing time in the summertime. That's where you
Okay.
want to have people that are more activity driven. Get out in there in the sun, do some activities with people and friends and connection
Hmm.
with community. It's a more time for outward time.
Uh,
So depending on the project that the company or business has, depending on their material, depending on what they're selling, it is best to gear their marketing materials or their determining who their target audience is
yes.
based on the cosmos, on the time of the year. It just helps you flow. You don't have to work. No one should really have to work hard to get their clients. If you're an
Yes.
earth person, more of an earth person, people want to see concrete. They want to see you posting things. If you say if you're a financial advisor, they want to actually see that data. They actually want to see you working on the computer and doing
Hmm.
what you're doing. If you're a fire sign, they don't really kind of want to see it. They want to see the lifestyle that you are living. How are you
Yes.
handling with your family? Are you able to be free. They don't want to see you working because they don't really care about that. If a water sign is there and if you want to see how things are flowing, you want to connect emotionally with your customer, and that's
Hmm.
how you draw those customers in. So it
Hmm.
kind of really just depends on
Wait,
the
I'm an air
person who's
sign.
running the
I'm an
business
air
as well.
sign.
Oh,
I'm
you're
a
an air
Gemini.
sign. Air
I'm an
sign
air
is
sign.
it's all about the thought right here. So your business, how can I touch my audience on a cerebral mind level,
Mm,
imagination and images and pictures and knowledge, and feeding that curiosity of air signs is very important. So maybe
ah,
giving them a little taste, a little teaser on your content, and then forwarding off to where they need to be. So intrigue them with
mhm.
information, and so they can go to another source. A fire sign, they don't want to go to another source. They want everything right there. So it
Right,
kind of,
right.
you always have to gauge it depending on your own personality, whether you have your business is actually a brand, and
Yes.
say you know your personal brand, or if it's a business that people never see you, it doesn't really matter who you are, but the brand has a personality
Mhm.
that is in a characteristic.
So for the business and astrology, businesses come to you and is it kind of like a one-time coaching session or they do like a series, 6 months, a year, so that you could get them and their business, astrologically aligned, if you will, and everything is heading in the same direction?
So it also depends. So normally my first counseling consulting session is always a 2.5 hours. It takes a while to get through everything, from marketing to how they're going to present, the tone, the character of their business. So all of that goes into factor. Um, the reason why they come back is never about the business not succeeding. It's always about themselves and how they are stopping and preventing their money flow, how they are
Mm-hmm.
energetically blocking the people and their customers from coming to them, whether that be self-doubt, self-sabotage, external forces, trauma from past experiences, says you're not good enough, not worthy
Mm-hmm.
enough,
Mm-hmm.
comparison, all these other things that come back. It's never the business, it's never the customers. It's
Yeah.
very rare. Sometimes it is the product, but sometimes it's very rarely the product. And it's always ourselves that is the issue.
Mm.
So sometimes they come back and say, hey, I did this, but I didn't get the engagement that I wanted to do, wanted to
Yes.
have. And sometimes I have to kind of dig a little deeper. Well, what were you doing around that time you were posting? How are you feeling
Mm.
around that time? And
Yes.
I always tell my clients, you should do nothing when it comes to business if you are not happy about it. Even if
Yes.
it's grunt work, even if it's tedious, even if it's taxes, you still have to have a positive outlook on it. And if you don't, take a break, come back to it later. It is okay. But the energy that we're placing on our business is so important. Sometimes it could
Mm.
be a spouse not supporting you, can just muddy
Yes.
the energy on your business as well. So sometimes it just takes a couple of sex sessions to get back connected
Yeah.
with your partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
energetically, you're
Everything
in
is
the flow
everything
of
is
things.
flowing. What have you and I've met and know personally people who are, in the midst of growing their business, in the beginning of growing their business, and their spouse is not supporting them. And that could really be challenging and it could stunt the energy of of the growth of the business, not because of the business itself, but because of your own energy gets stunted, if you will. What do you recommend to people who have a partner that is not supporting them? We're kind of supporting them. You know what I mean? Like a partner's like, hey, just, if I can help you with something, and then you tell them what you need help with, and they never do shit. It's like they don't even read your newsletters or that,
Read
how do
your
you help
stuff.
them to get above and around their partner without messing with that personal relationship because they're trying to get their business taken care of? How do you get them in alignment with what they need to do themselves?
The only way they can get in alignment is to fully dive deep within themselves themselves and understand why they picked that partner and why that partner is mirroring
Mhm.
behavior, thoughts, and patterns from that person.
Mhm.
So that your spouse may be that verbally speaking or performing what you are subconsciously thinking and subconsciously performing. When you have a business that is growing and it's going full throttle, yes, you need support. You want that. You love that.
Mhm.
But is it needed? And when you are in a space, especially if this is like your long-term partner or life partner, husband and wife, or something like that, a lot of times if they're not supporting you, then you've missed something. And a
Mhm.
lot of entrepreneurs are so focused, myself included, are so focused in success and drive. We can be laser focused on what's going on in front of us, going full speed ahead and saying,
Mhm.
I'm worried about what I have going on. You worry about what you have going on. So if
Mhm.
this is a person that at one point supported you, at one point did everything in their power to let them know that they were there for you, and that's no longer there, and then that's another topic that you all need to determine um, what is the real core issue, because the lack of support in the business is a symptom. It's not the actual cause of
Okay.
why. It could be jealousy, which happens a lot in relationships. One
Sure.
person can definitely be jealous of the other. One person can feel neglected. One person could have all the support in the world and still complain about not being supported.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so it really just depends. There's a lot of factors that go into that. But I will say, just starting off verbally saying, I don't feel supported, and these are the things that I would like for you to do. And if
Yes.
those things are met, then we can go forward. But those things are not, then we have a bigger issue. And if they're not supporting you in business, also not supporting you in other areas of your life, then you may need another partner,
Yes. This
unfortunately.
is unfortunately, yes. And again, I know it's a complex, way, and something that's not always going to be settled in, one or two conversations, because people don't always bring their authentic self to to coaching or counseling or therapy. For sometimes for, several sessions, because they either have fear, if they tell the truth, like, just don't think you are that good at business, which is why I don't support you. It's like, wait, what? It could be
That
all,
that can be a big factor. That can
that
be a
could
big
be a,
factor. Just because we are together in partnership, in marriage or romantic
Mhm.
partnership, does not mean that I want to be with you in business. I don't trust you with my money or with my
I
business or
don't.
making the decisions,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. So it's not. So um, another thing I was thinking about, when it comes to cosmic sexuality and sex magic, would you say there's a difference? What is the difference between sex magic and cosmic sexuality?
Um, there are differences. So cosmic sexuality, you just need two people. You don't need anything else. Because why would you? You don't need
Mhm.
absolutely anything else.
Yes.
Magic. I am a seventh generation witch. Everything from
Ah,
books being passed down, spells, herbs. We have it
really?
priest, and from my father's side, I'm very thankful for that. But we use these tools to amplify. So if you want
Mhm.
to amplify what's going on in your sex life, you can use sex magic.
Okay.
Because in order for you to have to have a cosmic orgasm, it takes two people who have done the personal internal work to be able to generate enough energy to be able to sustain. A lot of the times that I'm pretty sure a lot of us women have experienced this,
Mhm.
we're feeling good, we're getting there. We feel like, ooh, it could come, it could come. And the man feels all that energy. They feel the height and they can't hold it. They can't circulate in their orgasm. They
Yes.
have and they ejaculate.
Sure.
And so, unless you are able to build up enough energetic reserves, be able to hold it, be able to orgasm without ejaculation, it's
Yes.
very hard to kind of meet the two people. If one is having a stressful day, it's not going to match up.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Awesome. But using sex magic is something that's also very powerful. And we use the elements: fire,
Mhm.
water, air, earth, and we use those during sex as well as after sex. So let's see an example of something using sex magic within having sex. It would be both of the two having a commonality. This is what we're going to manifest when we
Mm-hmm.
start feeling the urge of orgasm. So, you know, sometimes as orgasm comes, you kind of feel it and it kind of goes
Sure.
up, kind of
Sure.
climax. Right when that starts climaxing, both parties are needing to think and focus. That's why meditation is important, to
Yes.
focus on the idea or the thought or the action or whatever it is that you all agreed to.
Mm-hmm.
Once that happens, you're able to use the water element with saliva.
Yes.
That's what you choose to use on that. And it's
Yeah.
almost like you're blessing. I'm not a fan of this, but some people love spitting. You know, they love
Yes.
that
Yes.
going on
I
there.
know King and Jasmine actually teach a course on spit play. I'm like, don't spit
So
on me. Don't do that.
yeah, like, no, I'm already, I'm all good. But you know, if that your thing, then you can use that as well.
Sure.
Food during sex, bringing that earth element and energy into that.
Mm,
It also could be having sex outdoors, by a
yes.
tree, on the grass, and get that grounding effect to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, afterwards, say, you know, if he has ejaculated or something, or there's any sexual juices that you still want to use, you could take a candle, bathe the candle into those juices and light it with the
Mm-hmm.
intention of y'all's union. It could be the intention of getting a relationship back on track,
Sure.
grieving, of healing. And as that smoke goes into the air from the candle, it is setting your intention and bringing it all out into the universe, into the ether. And
Yes.
hopefully, if both of them have pure intentions, then that is a way to amplify what is going on. So where the sex act isn't just solely that 30 or 45 or 2 hours, however long, it can go on for days. 3 hours.
Three is my
Oh,
number. That's my number. Three
I don't know if I can
boyfriends.
last 3 hours. Whoa, that's a
Yours.
long time.
But you take a break for some water, snack, and then you get back in it.
To get back into it.
Just enough to get some water. Get back in
Hmm.
it. I've only had one lover that could do 3 hours, and to his dismay, I didn't tap out.
He was crying too. Scared you to
he,
tap
he thought I was because I'm seasoned and he was so much younger. I'm like, no, this is not
out. Not
happening.
I.
Girl.
And one thing that with sex magic that I love, because not everybody has a partner. Not everybody
Of
is
course.
comfortable with their bodies to be able to have
Yeah.
multiple partners, or some people might just think it's just the sex magic and stuff is taboo. Maybe they have a more of a Christian background or something, a more religious background. So I always use examples for solo sex magic. So anytime you're
Yeah.
masturbating, anytime Mrs. Rose comes out, before you do it, don't let it just be mindless, you know, because we
Yes.
all had those like mindless orgasm. It was like, that was all right, but it wasn't, it was kind of a waste of an orgasm.
Never.
So
Orgasms are never wasted.
I want it to be strong, you know.
That's okay. We'll take them a little, a lot, a whole lot, more than enough, toe curling. I take them everywhere they come.
Anyway, so I always say, well, I say from before mine, I think about what I want to manifest.
Yes.
I have a year and a half before I am a graduate of my Ayurvedic practitioner as a doctor.
Ah,
And
yes.
I have a lot of thank you. I have a lot of things that I want to do and create. And the best thing is to do with pictures. So picture
Okay.
yourself. I would picture myself as a doctor in front of my patient, or picture yourself
Hmm.
on a yacht and feel the breeze. So picture yourself, visualize yourself before you start the act of
Yes.
masturbation.
Yes.
During the act of masturbation, same thing. As soon as you start that climax period, you hold it, you let it go drop down just a little bit, and then as soon as it starts going back up, You change your thought process back to that picture that you had. And,
Yes.
and you hold that thought as you're orgasming. And after you orgasm, continue to hold that thought, continue to feel the emotions of how wonderful it would be, how nice it would be. And that's a good sex and solo sex magic
Yes.
session.
Well, I think
Mhm.
this is a good spot to for us to just be like so thankful for you. Listen, Malika, I do want to thank you for being on the show. You are a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so excited that you are here today.
I'm so excited too. I just love what I do. And I was so excited to meet you when I met you. And I just couldn't forget you. I don't know, it was the face, it was the red lip, and your vibrant spirit. Your
Same.
name's Taylor. We had the same phone.
Taylor, Mariposa.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And I feel so fulfilled.
Oh, I feel the same when I met you. It was kismet for sure. Well, to stay up to date with Malika Mott and to book your own sessions and to keep up with her upcoming retreats, you can visit her website at astrodiscoveryhealth.com and be sure to follow her on Astro Discovery Health on Instagram, and of course to stay up to date with Sisters of Sexuality. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, you can email me at sistersofsexuality@gmail.com and find us, of course, on all social media at Sisters of Sexuality. Be sure to visit our sponsors, motorbunny.com, where you can use coupon code LOVEN, that's LOVEN, and receive $50 off any Motor Bunny sex machine. And baby, they are amazing. Also visit
Okay.
our sister site and sponsor Organic Lovin'. And if you use coupon code SOS15, you will receive 15% off of your first order. And if you like this episode and it resonated with you, please be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, share, and by all means, stay sexy. And we'll see you again next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Organic Lovin', for the bodies you love to love. How do people describe you? Are you curious, playful, maybe sensual, adventurous? How about open-minded? The truth is, no matter who you are, Organic Lovin' has something to indulge your fantasies. We offer only organic, natural, and eco-friendly intimate body products, including vegan condoms, organic lubricants, body-safe sex toys, and sex-positive books. You won't find anything harmful in our products or toys. We also have a full range of other experiences, including erotic seminars and exotic adult-only vacations. Receive our adult subscription box for a monthly sexual delight. Be educated, entertained, and informed. Organic Lovin', for her, for him, for you, for the bodies you love to love. Visit organiclovin.com. We offer shipping worldwide, so stop by the site anytime. Organic Lovin', that's LOVEN.com.